Romeo and Juliet.
Marcus had been talking for 4 minutes. He was making his point. He was articulate, he was prepared, he had the data. And not one person in that room was listening to him. His manager glanced at his watch. The woman across the table typed something. The man beside her suppressed a yawn. He saw all of it. And the most devastating part, none of them tried to hide it. He sat down. The meeting moved on. Nobody acknowledged what had just happened. Nobody had to, because when respect leaves a room, it does not announce itself. It simply stops showing up. What you just watched is not a story about one man in one meeting. It is a pattern, and there is a high probability it is already happening in your life right now, quietly without anyone telling you. A study published in the Applied Psychology found that 79% of employees who quit their jobs cited lack of respect, not salary, not workload, as the primary reason they left. 79%. Harvard Business Review research found that people perceived as low status in social groups are interrupted more, credited less, and consulted last, regardless of their actual competence. And the most uncomfortable finding of all, most people never know it is happening to them until the damage is already done. There are two kinds of people in every room. Those who are respected, not because they demanded it, not because they are louder or more aggressive, but because of the way they carry themselves, the things they do, the things they refuse to do. And then there are those who have slowly, unknowingly trained the people around them to take them lightly. Today, you are going to understand exactly which behaviors put men in the second group, and precisely what it takes to leave it. This is not another video about confidence hacks or alpha male posturing. What follows is built from real psychology, real human behavior, and the story of one man who learned every one of these lessons the hardest possible way. Stay with me. 3 years ago, when he joined the company, people leaned forward when he spoke. He was sharp, he was hungry. He had the particular kind of energy that makes a room pay attention without knowing why. But somewhere along the way, he developed a habit he never noticed. He began to over-explain himself. Every decision came with a paragraph of justification, every opinion followed by 10 reasons why it was correct. He was not wrong about the ideas, but the constant need to justify himself began to telegraph one thing to everyone watching, that he was not sure they believed him. And people treat you exactly as sure of yourself as you appear to be. The second thing he did was make himself permanently available. He answered messages at midnight. He rearranged his schedule for anyone who asked. He said yes before the question was even finished. He believed this made him valuable. What it actually made him was convenient. And people do not respect what is convenient. They respect what is rare. When you are always available, you have quietly told the world that your time is worth less than whoever is asking for it. But the behavior that cost him the most was the one he was least aware of. After every idea he shared, he would look around the room, not to see if people had questions, to see if they approved. That split second, that glance told everyone in the room that he needed something from them. And the moment someone needs your approval to feel solid in themselves, you have stopped seeing them as an equal. You have started seeing them as someone who requires your management. That evening, he sat in his car for 23 minutes before driving home. He was replaying the meeting. Not what was said, what he had felt. That specific nauseating feeling of speaking into air, of being present in a room and mattering to none of it. He had a name for that feeling now. He just did not yet know what had caused it. That night, he did something most men never do. He asked himself a question without flinching away from the answer. Not, why do they not respect me, but what have I been doing that has taught them not to? There was a man at that company named Mr. Osei, senior partner, 26 years in the industry. When Mr. Osei spoke in a meeting, people put their phones down. Nobody told them to. Nobody ever discussed it. It simply happened. And he had spent 3 years watching it happen without once asking himself why. The following morning, he asked him directly. Mr. Osei listened. Then he said, "Respect is not taken. It is not demanded. It is concluded. People observe how you treat your own time, your own opinions, your own boundaries, and they draw a conclusion. Then they treat you accordingly." He paused. "The behaviors you have described to me are not personality flaws, they are signals. And right now, you are sending the wrong ones." Mr. Osei then gave him 3 corrections, not suggestions, corrections. First, speak less, but mean everything you say. A man who speaks only when he has something worth saying trains the room to listen before he opens his mouth. Second, let your time be difficult to access. Not impossible, but difficult. Scarcity creates value. This is not manipulation. It is self-respect made visible. Third, state your position once, clearly, then be silent. The man who over-explains does not trust himself. The man who states and holds, that man is trusted by others because he first trusted himself. Mr. Osei ended the conversation with one instruction. For the next 30 days, every time you feel the urge to justify yourself, stop. Say the thing, then let it stand. No additions, no reassurances, no qualifications. Do that for 30 days and then tell me what the room looks like. He wrote it down. 3 sentences, the simplest and hardest thing he had ever been asked to do. The first week was uncomfortable in a way he had not expected. Every time he caught himself about to qualify a statement, he stopped. Every time he felt a pull to answer a message at midnight, he put the phone down. It felt unnatural. It felt almost rude. He had spent years training himself to be easy. Untraining it felt like pulling at roots. In the 3rd week, he presented in a meeting. He made his point. Then he sat down. The silence in the room was long enough that every old instinct he had fired at once. Say something, clarify, add a detail, fill the silence, fill it now. He said nothing. He held the silence like a man holds a door open with complete intention, going nowhere. His manager responded first, then others. The conversation that followed was the best one he had been part of in 2 years. Nobody had changed. The room had not changed. Only he had changed, and that was the only change that was ever required. 6 months after that conversation with Mr. Osei, he was asked to lead his first major project. No application, no lobbying. His manager simply pulled him aside and said, "People listen when you talk now. I want that in the room when this matters." He had not become a different person. He had simply stopped doing the things that were making people take him for granted. The respect had been available to him the entire time. He had just learned how to stop blocking it. Marcus is not a character. Marcus is a pattern. You may recognize him from your workplace, from your friendships, from your relationship, or, and I want you to sit with this, you may recognize him from the inside. Lesson 1. Respect is not given because you deserve it. It is concluded based on the signals you send. Lesson 2. Over-explaining is not thoroughness. It is the sound of a man who does not trust himself to be believed. Lesson 3. Permanent availability signals that your time has no value. Scarcity is not arrogance. It is self-respect. Lesson 4. The man who states his position and holds it in silence will always command more authority than the man who fills every pause with reassurance. If you have felt invisible in a room lately, I want you to know that it is not permanent. It is not a verdict on your worth. It is feedback on your habits. And habits can be changed. Not at once, not dramatically, but one deliberate choice at a time, starting with the very next conversation you have today. Here is your challenge. In your very next meeting, your next conversation, your next message, say what you mean. Once, clearly, then stop. No qualifications, no follow-up reassurances. Say it, mean it, let it stand, and watch what the room does next. If today's story gave you something worth keeping, subscribe to Master Chi. A new story, a new truth, built for men who refuse to stay where they are. And leave a comment below. Tell me, which of the 3 behaviors from today do you recognize most in yourself? I read every single one.